Everybody doing tonight? Welcome to Do the Work Sports. We're getting right into this AEW-ness. We're getting right into everything they're giving us product-wise. They are delivering great matches, but they still got a lot of sloppiness in these tag team matches more than anything else. Last night, the show started off with a bang. It had Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega versus the Private Party. Now, they gave us a little storyline. They had a disagreement at a bar, and that's why they're facing each other. This was a face versus face match, which, you know what, I'm fine with a face versus face match. But the thing I'm noticing with AEW, and it's kind of bothering me, is that there's not a lot of storytelling in AEW. There's not a lot of storytelling in the matches. They're great matches. There's a lot of ooh, ah moments, things like that. But there ain't really a lot that you can invest into other than I like Kenny Omega or I like Hangman Adam Page. So that's who I'm going to root for the win. There's no investment from the fans as far as who really wins this match? Who do I really want to win this match based on the story? But overall, it was a great match. It was a great way to open up the show. But there was just some sloppiness that was going on. You had all four members in the ring at one time, and there was no order. The referee wasn't counting the 1, 2, 3, 4. And I notice and I get it that this is supposed to be a different product than what you see in WWE. But to me, you can't have that sloppiness in a match like that. All that confusion. I don't care if they both get in there for a little while, but you can't have it as often as it happened. And it was just a lot of confusion. You can see it on the faces. And Adam Page hit Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega hit Adam Page with some moves, and there was no anger between the two. There was no anger between the two. And it didn't cost them the match even. They was able to win. Listen, you need that drama. If you're wanting to push a future match with Adam Page and Kenny Omega, you got to get that drama in there. And they're not getting it. They're not nailing it. Another match, the next match was Rhio versus Chris Statlander for the women's title. Now, this was another face versus face match. And in fact, last thing I knew, Chris was not the number two contender or the number one contender for this title. And it was confusing and sloppy also when the Nightmare Clan, whatever they call themselves, that is Brandy Rhodes, which is Cody's wife's leader, because she was out there commentating, and you just knew that they was going to get involved with somewhere because they've been messing with Chris here lately. And you couldn't hear Brandy Rhodes on the mic very well. She was very low-spoken. But here comes Awesome Kong and Mel, which Mel is the woman that jumped out of the crowd to have her head shaved to join this Nightmare Clan. And like I said, whatever they call themselves, I'm not really into this organization. I'm not really into this stable, to be quite honest with you. And I like Awesome Kong as a competitor, though. And in this match, Mel would get involved, take Rhio, what felt like forever, threw it into the railing. And you can't tell, the camera never shows the referee if he sees it or not. You can only assume he doesn't. So there's no disqualification called. Chris gets out there, jumps Awesome Kong. By the way, Awesome Kong had a knife on her hands, and Chris jumps through the ropes. She could have got stabbed, just throwing that out there. And then the referee sees that Chris gets jumped, and there's no disqualification call. Once again, this is sloppy refereeing. This is a sloppy match. And then you have the bald-headed freak, I don't even know his name, jump from out of the ring, and that's what started the jump on Chris to begin with. And there was nothing being said. Like I said, and the crowd went mild. The crowd didn't care about this match. They only wanted Rhio to win. After they seen what was happening, Rhio gets in, jumps down on to the bald-headed man with the little dot between his head and the lines. I guess he's a Japanese hardcore legend, what I was hearing from the commentary team. And look, that's all fine and dandy. The match goes on. They sloppily end it with Chris getting her up to get ready to hit her with the finisher, and then Awesome Kong pulls the legs out from underneath of Chris Statlander, and Rhio pins a 1, 2, 3. Listen, this match was really great before everybody got involved. This was a really awesome match. I was really into the match, and then everybody came down and got in the middle of this match, got involved, which is fine if it's done right. Like I said, I know this is a different product. I know this is not WWE. But you still, in any organization, I don't care if you're running a business, I don't care if you're in a factory, you have to have a sense of order. You cannot have this mayhem go on. Because one, the fans are not going to get invested when all this mayhem's going on. The crowd went mild. The crowd went silent once everything started going on. And it's sad. I was just kind of like, you know what? What is going on here? But then they would recover. with Sammy, with the Greek or the Spanish god he calls himself, Sammy Guevara. I know I said that wrong. Sammy Guevara, don't come over here and hit me in a circle. Now, versus Christopher Daniels. Christopher Daniels has been going through this downhill spiral where he don't feel like he has it anymore. He don't feel like he can do it. And this was a great match. You put a veteran in there with a young guy he's been putting on great matches. He's been putting on awesome matches. Pentagon Jr. would come out, want a moonsault, messing up Christopher Daniels. And Christopher Daniels would lose this match. Then the Dark Order would come out, wanting Christopher Daniels to join. And that's one thing I can say. Dark Order has a storyline going. Anybody who's losing matches, Dark Order's there trying to recruit them. And you know what? This is a storyline that I'm actually kind of following, and I really like where it could go. Now, I said it could go. We'll see in the future what's going to happen. We'll see in the future what they're going to decide to do with this Dark Order stuff. Right now, I like what's going on. But the thing is, the Dark Order, they're going to have to get in tag team matches and start winning some matches as well, because they've been on a losing streak as well. They're recruiting people, but you don't see very many of them winning. Now, the very next match, it's Pentagon Jr. and his brother, the Lucha Brothers, versus Dustin Rhodes and Cody Rhodes. And now the commentators were playing this off like Cody and Dustin have not worked together very long. That the Lucha Brothers have been that they have been working together a lot longer. They've been competing with each other a lot longer. They know each other better. And they were just saying that Dustin and Cody, they never tag team. They've done very little tag teaming. And let me tell you something, the commentators, and this goes back to Jim Ross, and I'm surprised he was even in on this. Cody Rhodes and Dustin Rhodes, a.k.a. Goldust at the time, were a tag team, and they were tag team champions in 2013 in WWE. And then they would transform into Goldust and Stardust, which is what was the spiral that caused Cody Rhodes to leave the company when he was made Stardust. But they was a tag team for quite some time. They have plenty of experience together. Don't play it off like they don't have the chemistry to be tag team partners. Because they do. They do have that chemistry. And this match had nothing to do with MJF. He was brought up at the end when he was asked by Tony if Cody was going to answer, and Arn Anderson said, "We're going to think about it and we'll get back to you next week." Listen, you can't drag this storyline out too much longer. MJF versus Cody Rhodes. The fans want it. I want it. We all want to see it. Listen, we know Arn Anderson was going to be the manager of Cody Rhodes. And they ended up picking the win up over the Lucha Brothers. Now, look, I know I'm sounding like a hater right now. I know I'm sounding like someone who doesn't appreciate AEW. I do appreciate AEW. It has that rawness. It has that we're not WWE appeal to it. I like the product, but there's just some things that you got to tune. And if you're going to state facts out there, like saying that Cody and Dustin never worked together, you got to acknowledge WWE some. You don't have to say their name. You don't have to mention them. But you can say that they have experience with each other because they do. They do. And then after that match, after getting his name being mentioned, it's like he just came out of the crowd. MJF, and God, I love MJF when he has the microphone in his hands. He is probably one of the best, or if not the best heel in the world right now. The way he gets heat, the way he brings it upon himself, and I'm guarantee you he's got real heat. Not just the kayfabe type of heat from the fans where they know it's all, for the entertainment. I think he's got real heat on him. Then you'd hear DDP's music hit. DDP would come out, and he would talk about how he kind of wants one more match, and then MJF would answer and interrupt him. And out comes the Bunny, Blade, and the Butcher. They all come out, and MJF says, "You have two options. You have two options: kiss my ring, or the more fun option, we beat you down." And he hits two diamond cutters on Blade and the Butcher. He ran into the big walking, whatever his name is, bodyguard for MJF. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank, ladies and gentlemen. Please put his name in the comments below because I've not seen him do anything. I think it's Warlow, or what Dallas Paige called him, Warblow. Came to me. And then Dallas would get jumped a little bit, and then out save the day was Dustin. It was Dustin Rhodes and UT Marshall. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I was thinking MGF. UT Marshall. UT Marshall came out. Now, I just want to point something out, and it's really funny. MJF says, I don't know if you know this, Diamond Dallas Page, but WCW is dead. WCW is no more. Guess what they're playing? Guess where they're wrestling at next week? Bash at the Beach. And Diamond Dallas Page is going to wrestle there against MJF. Now, WCW's dead, but they're bringing about a WCW pay-per-view for next week's Dynamite. Ironically, I don't know if they did that on purpose. I have no idea. But I wish that's something, it's just ironic for me. It's just ironic for me, that's all. That's all. And this was in another face versus face match. The best friends with Orange Cassidy versus Jurassic Express. This was the main event of the night. This is the last match you're going to have for the night before we find out Jon Moxley's answer, if he's going to join the Inner Circle or not. And listen, I know a lot of people love this Orange Cassidy. I just can't get into him. This hands in the pockets. Yes, he's athletic. Yes, he's got talent. But listen, if your name is Orange Cassidy, and Chris Jericho said this in one of his podcasts, if you think of someone's name, can you see them being a world champion? Orange Cassidy, I could see him having a title belt, but not if his hands are in his pockets the whole time, and he's not doing a lot of explosive moves. He did have some explosive moves in this match. More than just the light kicks for the entertainment purposes. And I know it's silly. I know what it's meant to do. I'm just not feeling it. I'm not getting into stuff like that. You know? No. And once again, there was no order in this match. Everyone was in the ring at one point in time. It's hard to know who the legal man is. It's hard for the referee to keep track who the legal man is. You got to have order in these matches, especially as the match goes on. You got to have order. You can't just let people come jumping in and out whenever they feel. Sooner or later, that's going to get people hurt. You can't have that type of disorder. You can't have that type of confusion, not only for the fans, but for the athletes in the ring. Now, and the reason I'm going on about this order stuff, the reason I'm going on about these type of matches, is because JR, on the same podcast that Chris Jericho had just been in like a week before with Bubba Ray Dudley, says that, he's brought in, he's going to guide this company and try to help guide this company. Hopefully they take his advice. Cody Rhodes wants to get away from the face versus heel aspect, where anybody can face anybody. I'm with JR on this one. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't mind having face versus face and heel versus heel matches, but you need to have a storyline build up to why these people are facing each other, at least in some matches. I get it. You got a storyline with Moxley and Jericho. You got a storyline with Cody and MJF. But where's your other storylines? You got one kind of with Christopher Daniels and the Lucha Brothers, Pentagon Jr. You kind of got a story going on with the Dark Order where they're coming out, but there's no ends in sight. There's no connection. There's still just a lot of storylines that you can just tell the inexperience from the writing standpoint is there. And that's why I believe you bring in Arn Anderson. I believe that's why you bring in Diamond Dallas Page. You bring in these veteran guys to help guide this company and get this company where you want it to be. You have a lot of potential there in AEW. There's a lot of potential there. But is this product as good as WWE? Absolutely not. Is this product as organized as WWE? Absolutely not. Is this product the same as WWE? Absolutely not. And that's the only thing keeping it going. It's not the same thing as WWE. But with the content that we're getting, with the sloppiness that we're getting in these matches, you will never be able to topple or compete fully with WWE. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but not sorry, as the song says. That's just how it is. You can't have that sloppiness going on. So I hope they get it in order. Chris Jericho has already had a conversation about the tag team division, bringing everybody together, addressing this sloppiness, that people who's not legal is getting in the ring and you don't see a tag. There's no tag being made. That's tag team wrestling. You got to make a tag. The referee has to acknowledge that tag. There has to be order in this wrestling organization. I get it, they're all out there. But this isn't the indies no more. This isn't the independent scene no more. You're on live television. You got to have good storylines. You got to have this stuff to bring it to the end. You have to have it. Like I said, I'm sorry, but not sorry, but that's the way I look at it. That's the way I see it. If you do not have the organization, if you do not have the sloppiness go away, You will not succeed much to beat WWE, and I don't know if you'll be able to stay on TNT. Will fans continue to tune into that? I don't know. Right now, your competition is NXT. With NXT, you got organization. You got what you guys have. You got a lot of people that's been in the organization for a long time. These wrestlers are not inexperienced, but these wrestlers are being trained to do promos. These wrestlers are being trained to perform at a high level. These wrestlers are being trained to perform at a higher level. AEW needs that. I digress, though. I'm a back off of it. On to the Moxley. Chris Jericho comes out, Le Champion, with a bunch of bubblies, with a table set up in the ring, with a bunch of the bubbly set up in the ring. Jake Hager, Sammy, and Chris all wait for Moxley's answer. Moxley comes down to the ring, and just as everybody predicted, he joins the Inner Circle. You gotta be kidding me. He joins the Inner Circle? He's going to be a part of this group? Is this NWO 3.0? Because we already had 2.0 at WWE. So this 3.0 with Inner Circle is going to take over? Why? Why, John? Why? Well, his intentions became very clear. He tricked them all. He got the car. Chris Jericho gave him the keys to a brand new car. And then Moxley goes, one more thing. I lied. Smacks him in the head with a bottle of the bubbly. DDTs him in the middle of the ring. He tricked them all, folks. He tricked me. He tricked that whole arena. This was a very nicely done skit to make everyone believe these are two veterans in the ring. A lot of veterans in the ring, except for Sammy. You got Jake Hager, who the man don't have no emotion. Very rarely do you see him crack a smile, but he has when Chris Jericho's mentioned something funny. You got Chris Jericho. I don't need to go into his credentials. You got Jon Moxley, who was one heck of a member of the Shield in WWE. But this was very nicely done, this story, this setup, because it had me fooled. I was unhappy. I couldn't believe that Jon Moxley was going to be part of this group. But he tricked us all because he's not part of the group. And I'm calling it right now. I think Chris Jericho will drop the title to Jon Moxley. I just can't see Jon Moxley losing that match. He could, but I don't see it. But there you have it, folks. That's my complaints about AEW. That's the sloppiness of AEW. But there were some bright sides in there. Tell me what you think of AEW. Am I wrong? Do you think I'm wrong? Put it in the comments. What do you guys think of AEW's product right now? What's things that you want to see them improve on? What's things you want to see in the future? If you like my content, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button on this video. When you hit that subscribe button, you get the videos as soon as they pop out. As soon as I upload a video, you'll get a notification so you never miss a segment on here, Do the Works. And I'll see you guys later on the flip side.